Welcome everybody to Tarot Times with me, Dorothy. This is November 2016. This is the last one for this year, and it will be the last one that I do on IntuiTalks, the Tarot Times, that is. We have got a few show changes because of the month. So we've got to double up on off state. So it was this Wednesday just gone. It will be next Wednesday as well. Then there'll be a psychic affair, which will both be the last ones for this year. And then the last show that I'm running will be December 13th, and it's with Dorothy and Kathleen, with Dorothy. Now, everybody will get a reading. Everybody will get an e-medicine crystal bag and the explanation. That's the picture you can have. If you want to buy that, then you can talk to Kathleen about that. I'm going to be doing energy totems. These I usually sell for $40 to $60, depending on how involved they are. So, $20, a couple hour show, everybody getting 4 readings. That's 2 individual of me, 2 individual of Kathleen, and we're both going to finish the show with tarot readings, and we're going to quick fire those, so it should be fun. $20 long. So I do that quickly because 2 of those things, the energy totems and the e-medicine bags, the crystal bags, need to be done well before, and we have a top limit of numbers of people that can come in for the show. But of course we need that time to put those things together for you so that you can take your picture away with you. So anyway, let's fire away. December, the influences are for Sagittarius. The information is the main influence for you this month. That means it will be blowing at you, it'll be coming at you from all directions, or you'll be seeking it. You may find yourself researching things, a lot of time getting information, and it may even be a time where you decide to take on some learning for next year, where information is the basic requirement. Watch out for being blindsided this month, Saggies, because this can come from you, or to somebody, from you or to you. Now, being blindsided is a bit of a shock. It's always going to be a shock. It's being out of the blue, but it has a major effect. It's going to be nominal, however it comes to you. That'll be finding out the truth about something. It could even be that somebody says something out of the blue that really is upsetting, that you never knew or understood about them before, that kind of energy, and you to somebody else. But whichever way that goes, it's always going to be a little bit challenging. If it's not too big a deal, then you'll bump over those bumps and then come on to the other side quickly. If it's a major, coming in December is a bit of an issue because it's pulling right on up to quite a stressful time for many people, with money, with family considerations and a lot of planning, etc. And if you do have holidays over Christmas, we get 4 weeks here as a standard Christmas fair or break time. You may have to make things stretch. Definitely is your strength, and so that is actually a complementary energy. If you're going to be blindsided, if you're going to find something out that knocks you for a 6, you will be able to manage that with dignity, which is real, and that will help you get through that, and it will help others to respect you as well. If you're the one doing the blindsiding, then the dignity comes when you offer your apologies or you deal with that appropriately. Your worst will be negative thoughts this month, so you may find yourself flowing on in there. Now, do remember that if you're in here live and I come to your sun sign and you want personalization, let me know there, but don't tell me till I get there or else I'm going to feature. So we've got the 9 of Wands, which is essentially a challenge card. It says that you can't necessarily see the forest for the trees. You can't necessarily see where things are going. But this is probably what drives the need for information. Get more information if you need it. Make sure you've got the correct information. Think of the word information, and anything that goes around that is important to you. The 6 of Wands, that's the need to be recognized. That's actually people saying, good job, well done, pat on the back, selling that book, getting things motivated. Rewards aren't necessarily financial with this card, but they can be. Having said that, it is people letting you know you've done well. It's not just you feeling like you've done well. The 8 of Cups is needing to let something go. Again, that comes to that being blindsided or perhaps those negative thoughts. Let them go so that you can move on quite clear, because the King of Swords reverse suggests troublemaking a process, an analytical process of thought patterns. That is to say, thinking things through, seeing and balancing and weighing up things will be a little bit challenging for you. So do be aware of that and work through it. I need to tell everybody I have a new website. I've dropped energy-therapies.co completely after I've lost how many years I've held that one. And in favor of www.dorothy-holder.com. My email address is energy-therapies@dorothy-holder.com. If you need to get in touch with me, I'm transitioning the website. I've been at that for a wee while and I haven't quite made it yet, but you can go there and see parts of the old website if you need something immediately. If you want a reading, you'll find the services are there. The Capricorn coming up, your main influence will be projects. You'll be wanting to start things, getting things underway. You may even be focusing on something that's already started, but it's a bit more work done to it. There'll be a whole lot of energy around that for you, and so that's kind of nice. You know, it's something you enjoy. You enjoy getting your teeth into something. You like planning, and so that will work out nicely. Check out for unfinished business. And if that's filing up under the projects heading, that does mean you may just have something thrown in your face. Something may break. If you have had a half-finished kitchen or you have the plumbing fix that you needed to do, it may come back to bite you this month. But also, unfinished business is about the past. You may find that people step forward wanting to close some doors or wanting to deal with issues that you've had. If you've had things going on with your family for a while, it's going to come back at you. And so your opportunity when that happens, the ability to resolve some fraud. You can go where you've always gone and it can stay unfinished, or you can accept what it is or plan for something new for the future. Your strength is flexibility, which is lovely. That means you'll be able to roll with the punches. It means you'll be able to change tactics. It means you'll be able to change your mind. You'll be able to with whatever's going on, and that's really nice for you. You won't feel like you have to stay static in your path forward. Your weakness will be yielding, giving way to others, allowing them to change your course if you like, or letting go of something you really want for somebody else. This is a December energy for you, so it's very important for you to determine where that's okay and where it's not okay. We've got the reversed Knight of Cups, which usually brings you back to the things of unreliability. It's usually a charmer's card. It's usually a card that can really get people on side and be popular. When it's in its reversed mode, there's a few staticky moments in there. The Two of Swords, not wanting to know something, not wanting to deal with something, and that could come under that heading of unfinished business. If there have been fights and wars going on around you between your partner and your children, or two of your children, or your parents, or friendships, wanting to know about it, trying to ignore it doesn't help. And if part of it's because of you, if you are a part of it, not necessarily at fault for it, then choosing not to deal with it will bring more problems later. So take the bull by the horns, find a way to manage and end things that are outstanding. The Chariot is that losing control or needing to maintain control of things. Yielding and control come together. That means you may lose control of your finances or your time by giving way to other people this month and letting them get their way rather than doing what you know is best for you. I like the Death card for you because with the unfinished business and with the projects, it allows you to transform something. That can be as simple as deciding to renovate a room in your house, and by doing that and planning that, it becomes a completely different space. But it can also take something that's not working terribly well and turn it on its head, create something that's really good out of something that's not so flash. It's not an ending card. The 10 cards and the tarot deck is ending. The Death card is a transformation energy. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for you this month. We've got Aquarius. We've got the main influence is history, not the past, but history. And so because the word history came out for me for Aquarius, my first thoughts in there are really that we're looking at genealogy, perhaps. We're looking at historical programs, documentaries, shows, discovery of things that are very old in your area, visiting museums. History is in your past. It's larger. Hello, Corrine. Welcome. Gotcha. It's larger than your own past. It's a world thing or a country thing or a family thing. So that's a nice area. It's something that you can find quite interesting, considering also that Aquarius tends to be focused on the future. When they become caught up in the past, there's a good reason for that. So I find it will be quite an exciting time. Watch out for opportunities this month. They may come and you may miss them. Now, the fact that we're saying watch out for this part of a reading here, or this part of the influences here, you could miss this, right? Or it will slam you in such a way that you weren't expecting it. And so it might catch you unawares. And when you're not prepared for something, sometimes we don't necessarily respond to it correctly, or we don't realize till later that we probably should have. And then it's too late. But what to watch out for, you could be creating opportunities for yourself. So be sure to follow through in areas that feel right for you, that feel like they're going to lead to something more, that look like they've got potential. We've got quick thinking as your strength this month. So quick thinking will get you out of any scrapes yourself. Agility of the mind will allow you to save the day. It will allow you to start something new or think of something new. This is your area. This is Aquarian's quintessential area, the ability to shift the mind very quickly into another mode. This is losing faith. So anything that's been drawn out, that's been ongoing, that's been ho-hum for a while, you may this month find it very difficult to maintain a positive outlook. Not necessarily as a negative thinking, but lose faith in the idea that you're good, that you can have that, or this will turn out well for you. Sometimes when we've had a few setbacks, it gets a bit easy to think, well, maybe this is just too much. Maybe I just can't do it. But it doesn't feel like a negative thinking thing. It feels like a losing faith in a project. As a weakness, it does suggest it's out of place. So that's something to take off as well. With that, we've got the reverse Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands is about your vision. It's about what vision for yourself, what you envision for your future. It's a wonderful thing. We always go into our future with a vision of something, no matter how broad it is, no matter how far ahead it is. We've got a vision of something for ourselves. It's very disappointing to realize the moment when we can't have that, or we've gone down the wrong track and made it harder to get that. So it's an important side of things. This is the area where we start realizing how much time we've wasted by doing that or following that person, all of that stuff. So it means it's more important for you this month to just remind yourself, and it's probably quite a good idea to write it down and stick it on the fridge or something so you can see it, that I'm doing this because this is what I want for myself, and reinforce that vision so that the material reality, that's beginners in this card, it's the material reality, which can be finances, can be obstacles, it can be people, it can be situations that stand, and institutions that stand in your way. The Hanged Man, you are going to be asked to give something up this. Now, when you're asked to give something up, that for the Hanged Man is not a sacrifice. It's a willing giving up. That means I want something more than I want that. So you're going to be asked to make a choice between something you want more that will require you to let go of something else that you don't quite want as much, even if you did want it to start with. So I think you're being told you can't have both. You need to make a decision. The King of Cups, there's a lot of emotions in this. We have the Wounded Healer in here. So it could be quite an emotional month for you, Aquarians. Having said that, it's the King of Cups. The King can master his emotions. He can hold the fort, if you like. He's experienced it all. It also means, too, because he resonates with the Cancer sign, that sometimes we need to go a little bit sideways to be able to get where we're going. So we just need to think a little bit around the square, be lateral, think cryptic crossword, and you're on your way. The moon suggests you're not necessarily going to know what's going on. It's going to be one of those sub-energy months for you, and quick thinking will come in. The ability to think without necessarily having an idea of where things are going, just reacting in the moment to what's going on in the moment. And you will be right if you do it that way. Try not to overthink things, where the King of Cups can do. So they're in direct conflict with each other. So as soon as you've made a snap decision, your second thought will be, I propped that up. Having said that, you probably won't. For Corrine, for your Aquarian December this month, I've got a few very rewarding moments. I've got in particular the December the 20th for you seems to be a very powerful day in one way, shape or form. I think it's an initiating day. That's not necessarily a reward day, but the events on that day or anything you decide or sign or do on that day will have long-term repercussions for you. I've got a man, he's quite slender, and I've got him stepping up into your face. Now, this isn't a romantic sort of feeling that I've got from this, but he's right in your face and you are just facing off with him. I've got that whole feeling of facing off with him, and I'm going to tell you that all you have to do is step sideways and you can get around him. He will not move. He will not budge. So that's your personal month. With the generalized information too, there's a deep sense for you of knowing around the certain events this month, around certain people. And in that knowing, it allows you to make choices without understanding the whole complex situation. like to run straight off your emotional base anyway, my darlings. I don't think that's going to be a major problem for you. Not really. Pisces, we've got change as the main influence for you, and I had sudden change flowing right under that. Okay, is that me or is that Doreen, Jennifer? Are you still hearing me okay? Because if it's everybody else's, I can't please everybody, but you know. The main influence change, when I wrote sudden change under that, I had to think about whether I needed to change that, but it stuck right in there. Fantastic. Thanks, Jennifer. So the main influence is change, but watch out for sudden change. So as a main influence, it means you'll be seeking change, where change will be entered to you. Doesn't mean it's good, and it doesn't mean it's bad. So you will need to ascertain in December what changes are worth pursuing, what changes are worth resisting. What to watch out for is the sudden change. So if you sit on your laurels too long, if you procrastinate, this intimates to me that it's just going to happen. Okay? It's also being recorded, so if you want to pop down, you can check the archives later. So it's just going to happen, and that's something you probably want to avoid. You want to avoid having decisions made for you simply because you didn't make one. So some change is inevitable, and when change is inevitable, best you ride that train. Best you control that, Pisces. Your strength is in communication this month, so when things do happen quickly, you will be right there with your words to be able to manage it, to be able to mediate things, to be able to put things together. Yes, it's advice. Now, if your weakness is advice, that means you're either given bad advice, so you might need to think twice about that, or take note of the advice you're given, but only think carefully about it before you act on it. Make sure it's given in the right spirit by the persons that know what they're talking about for your situation. That's a powerful, powerful call. As a weakness, it means you may take the wrong advice. You may not think things through. The Ten of Cups says it's a pretty good month for you, Pisces. There's a general happiness there, feeling pretty good about life, feeling like you've achieved a nice comfort zone for you. So Ten of Cups is a comfort zone. It's always a nice place to be. We have got a disappointment with the reversed Five of Cups, but that may come under that change heading, that nothing changes for you is disappointing. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a life-changing event. It is important for you to acknowledge whether your expectations were too high or inappropriately placed, or whether in actual fact you were hoping for something that you kind of wouldn't make the grade. The Four of Swords is, of course, going inside. It's about taking in and knowledge what you know, what you've experienced, ruminating, considering. Taking the time to think things through isn't procrastinating unless you keep taking the time and keep taking the time. The Two of Pentacles, this is just heads down. Keep working. Keep doing what you're doing this month, Pisces, because it will pay off for you. The Two of Pentacles is accumulating. It's about doing what you need to do, and money will suddenly be in the bank, or you'll find you've put enough there. It's just taking care of business, really. So it's a great, great, great card to have in your December. Now we've got Aries. We've got catching up as your main influence, and this one gives me a little because I wasn't 100% sure if it meant you were chasing your tail and trying to catch up, which it could do. But the overriding feeling was catching up with people, catching up with events, being in different places and having catch up. I'll go for you as soon as I've finished the general reading, Jay. So the catching up energy here is an interesting one for me because I saw what to watch out for is missed connections. So they really roll together. But do be aware that if somebody texts you or leaves you a message or sends you some kind of appointment style thing, whatever it might be, that wants to catch up, then you may want to make sure that you do that or you will miss out. It feels very much that kind of energy of missed connection, star-crossed lovers that leads to you wishing that you had made an extra effort. Your strength this month is fairness, and when Aries is in their fear mode, they're an amazing, amazing person to be around to solve problems, to sort things out. Now, Aries, we all know, isn't always fair. But when you are fair, Aries, you are awesomely fair. You can see all sides of the situation and being action-oriented in your mind and putting the right thing first is part of your nature, is putting something first, mostly Aries, or your own desires. When you're in the fear mode, then you're putting the right thing first. So December, powerful, powerful month for you to play mediator, to resolve issues. When people people will come to you with their problems, and you will surprise them with your leadership, your ability to show, not only do I have a solution for you, but I have the best solution for you. If you're having problems in your own relationships, December's the month where you will be able to see the other person's point of view clearly and then find the best solution for both of you. The Tower reverse says there is some structural issue. So because we've got time as the weakness, it's very important for you to be aware of how you're using time. So you may lose time, you may get sidetracked with things a little bit, and this is that catching up, this misconnection stuff. It'll be one after this month because it's reinforced by the reverse Tower, which, when we're talking about structure, we could be just talking about how you're planning. Double check your calendar, make sure you've got all the right things in place. Double check people if they are needing to be somewhere in particular. The Justice card, of course, is fairness, and it's a blind eye to what other people's whims and fancies are. She is kind of collected, The Justice, she is kind of in the center, regardless of the emotions of the people around you, which for us is quite disconcerting. Other people's emotions can really get you off center, but not this month. We've got sowing seeds. This is time as well, the Page of Pentacles. So at the moment you may find things are a bit frustrating in December where you do something and expect something back for that or want to see a result, but you're forced to wait because, of course, once we sow a seed, we must wait for it to germinate. Now, if you plant a lettuce, it's 30 days. If you plant an onion, it's 6 months. So think about what it is you're putting out there and the realistic time it would take for it to eventuate, or how much effort putting into it may determine whether things are sped up or slowed down. The Hermit says use your guiding light. You've got enough knowledge. This goes to me as a cross with the Justice. I see that as a perfect pairing, that you know inside yourself what is right. You know inside yourself without being told, regardless of what other people are thinking, you know what your path forward looks like and how that should be taken. For Jay, personally for you this December, I've got a female, and that female energy is going to step up. And when I see her stepping up, she's going to lie to you. That's what I've got with her. It feels like a person that you've been wanting to communicate with, or a person you've been wanting to have a bit more to do with, or somebody you've been wanting to reconnect with, put it in those baskets. But I just see the first things out of her mouth are lies, and you just know it. There's no hoodwinking you with this. Maybe you've been there before with this person, but that's a really prevalent energy for you this month because I think it hurts you that she does this. I'm not sure what the depth of your connection is to her, but I do feel the hurt from that, and you may find it quite difficult to shake. So that's where the foundations come in for you, the lack of foundation. Sometimes you just have to acknowledge, one of the things people that are not behaving well often will throw out at other people, and it's very common, more common for a person who's not behaving well to do than anybody else. They will say, accept me for who I am. I actually agree that we should accept people for that, but if that is not in alignment with you or doesn't resonate or is damaging for you, accepting them for who they are means stepping away from them so that they can be who they are, but not in your space, Thank you. Not in my space. Thank you. So we've got that for you. But towards, it feels like the third week of December, I've got some very calming, relaxing days. It doesn't feel like all together, but I've got a bit here or there that are just so nice, so pleasant. I've got a lot of sunshine. I don't know if you live somewhere warm because it's sunny here, but you may get snow there, but I've got a lot of sunshine, so I don't know if you're traveling, if you do live somewhere colder. But I've just got this lovely sense of lying in that beautiful relaxation. It does feel kind of nice. So, bugger. No sun there. Well, you may get snowy, sunny days, but I've just got you sitting in the sunshine, in particular in 1 or 2 days of this third week of December. And in that moment, I've just got a lovely, lovely feeling. Maybe you're in a window. What can I say? My first thought was you're in winter and I'm in summer, but I still keep seeing the sunshine. However that happens, it could even be a lovely meditation. But however that happens, fine. You know what I did once? This is with Linz from, Lindsay Harrison. She had a reading on a show with me today, and I said to her, you know what? I see this house. It's got a thatched roof. It's very cottagey. It's very beautiful. I can see the street it's in. And I see you looking at this house and spending a lot of time looking at this house. It's really grabbing your attention. And my whole interpretation of that was that she may find herself in a position where she is either moving, renting. I said, I'm not really sure if the move, but I do see you paying a lot of attention to this house. She laughed. About 3 or 4 weeks later, she'd had a birthday or something went on, and her husband had bought her a jigsaw puzzle, and the jigsaw puzzle was a thatched cottage, which she spent many, many days putting together, which I thought was pretty funny. So, see how it's out for you. Taurus, you're very welcome. I just think it's funny. So I'm still sticking with it. By the way, I'm not letting it go. I still see that shine and I can feel the warmth of that. Taurus, this is me, Mags. Main influences goals. You'll be thinking about what you want for your future, how you want to make things work, what it is that you want, what are your dreams, what are your ideals, what do you want to achieve. So big push for you this month. And so you may move into a mode of writing down or sketching down what your ideas are. I don't necessarily get the idea that you want to sort of drive into them yet, Taurus, but that they're there, they're a basic formulation, and I'm already thinking of the next year and maybe the year after that. Watch out for energy shifts. Now, I played with this a wee while because I was like, energy shifts, what are we talking about here exactly? But it kept coming back to the words energy shifts. So that means for me, as I'm at that and feeling it, that something that wasn't so good is suddenly going to become good, but you won't necessarily know why. Something that feels pretty okay may not be such a great thing. There'll be an energy shift and it'll suddenly feel uncomfortable. It does feel fairly sudden. That's why it's a shift, but it's a shift that's putting things in their proper place. So if it's been a mask or a hidden influence or area, then it's a bit of a challenge for you there because you're going to find yourself seeing very clearly there's a path through everything, and that's what these energy shifts are doing. It's a realignment of maybe one area, it may be a number of areas, but as these areas flow in, you just find yourself having to reassess and make adjustments. Not your favorite thing, Taurus. Strength is control, controlling yourself, being disciplined, moving through the idea of what it is that you want for yourself and maintaining the consensus as they go forward rather than giving away the power to somebody else. Your weakness is confusion this month. You may find that as things shift, as things move, you just kind of lose track, I suppose. So it's a sort of scatterbrained energy, but I don't see that level of lack of thought. It's like, how did I get here? And that, I think, is probably down to the energy shift. How did that suddenly change? Because I don't see, with those shifts, I don't see any reasoning. That it's impossible for you to see why that changed. The Empress, she's higher in nurture, vigilance. She's also looking for the right things in life to put them all together. She's the queen of her castle. She's nurturing. She's harvesting. She's bringing back and enjoying the things that she's already created for herself. It's a really nurturing, wonderful space to be in, but you can't stay there. And so behind her, there's the water flow, there's the pastures, and at some point, the eyes will be casting outside of that comfort zone. It's very much a comfort zone card. The Five of Wands again is reversed, and as it's reversed, we're in that same energy of not quite knowing how to get what we want. Because I've got confusion around this rather than loss of faith, I think it's simply like, I've got vision, I've got the tools, I just don't know how to get over that hurdle. I'm not sure how to make that happen. And the key in that moment is to check in on the vision rather than try to find the solution to that. Sometimes we just have to go into wait mode. The timing isn't right. The thing that we need isn't there. I can remember when I first started doing auras on the internet, on my computer, it was a terrible thing. The programs weren't there. What was there was very sophisticated, very out of my league to operate. Not now, but it was then. And so they looked very amateurish and I couldn't make them move. There's a whole pile of things. It was nearly 6 or 7 years before the products arrived that not I found them, but were actually created to fit the model of what I wanted. Because I already had that in my mind, I could envision how I wanted these aura videos to look. it became a matter of, spotting them when I saw they were ready to rock, and it was easy for me to integrate them into what I was already trying to do. With the magician, things are they're not gonna be what they seem this month. Something that seems really awful is not gonna be as bad as you think. Something that seems really good, may have some hidden challenges in there. It's a tricky month for you, because I know that you like Taurians to pretty much where things are at. You know, I say it like it is, you say it like it is, and everybody's happy kind of an energy. But we've also got this huge movement, and this is the energy shift. We've got the double swords there. We've got the knights of swords, and that is kaboom. You know, that's really, really moving. And so that happens so fast. And that's where I think the confusion comes from. You can be in absolute strife, or bounded in, or fully restricted one moment, the next minute it's all open. Everything's a go. Everything's working. So you feel like you've been walking through sludge. Suddenly, you know, it's that like suddenly the weights are dropped off and the whole field is open. This isn't good or bad. So you need to remember that. This isn't a promise of rewards. This says that everything moves really, really fast. And that being the case, the chances are that it's been timing that's holding anything back, that it's just got to be the right time. So energy shifts are going to be the view. And I do thank you, Jennifer, for helping out, and everybody else for showing up and making it easy. Now, for you, Mags, how this works out for you for December, I've got a lot of homebody stuff around you. I've got the Empress playing a larger role. Now, I've got two older women, and I do think they're both women, and they're very much clucking around you this month. So I don't know if they want something from you. I don't know if it's just that they're somebody you've aligned with at the moment, but I've got these two women on and off all month. They're ringing you up, or they're asking you to do stuff, or you're involved with them in some way. It feels really good. It doesn't feel negative in any way, shape or form, but one of these women has a tendency to be critical with her speech. And I see that the balance changes with that. You may have put up with it. You may have just been grinding your teeth quietly when she's not around, but you actually like her as a person perhaps, and so you've put up with it, or you're in a relationship with her. You know, she could be a relative that allows you to, or forces you to kind of knuckle down with that. But I see a standard moving with her that it just changes a little bit. You either get to be able to say what you need to say in the right, or an opportunity comes for you to say, you know what, I don't like being talked to that way. So I do see you making that as a shift. Do you suffer from chilblains? So I've got a word I've used forever. It's like, what the hell? I don't even know really what they are. I've heard of them, but it just popped into my head, so I'll leave that. But I've got they're called chilblains, aren't they? Chilblains. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. B-L-A-I-N-S or B-L-A-N-E-S. I'll have to look that up later, Max, because the words come into my head and I've got an idea what they are, but I'm not really sure. I think that's like really cold toes or really cold fingers, but they go just about blue. That kind of feeling. And I've just got that. I got that in blue feet or something like that. So that's all I can put it there, because I don't know enough about it to I'm cold but not that cold. Well, not right now. It may be an event or a moment. Maybe you get caught out. I don't know. But I've got that real deep sense of cold. And I've got to tell you, it's in my toes. And my toes are pretty warm right now, I must say. So interesting thing. And I get that for you specifically as I am looking at the Knight of Swords. Here, Jackie saved today. Painful inflammation of small blood vessels in your skin that occur in response to repeated exposure to cold, but not freezing air. Also known as pernio, chilblains can cause itching, patchy knees, patches, swelling, and blistering on your hands and feet. So watch out for that, by the way. Now, please note, as she says, as she's got her, it's not freezing air. You may need to sort of think about that. But if you are, because if you are dressed right, but you happen to be in a cold environment, it's not impossible. But it came through, bang. So take extra care. She's on the ball. She's our research girl. So moving right along, we've gone from Taurus to Gemini. Gemini, your main influence this month is pressure. You're going to feel the pressure. You're going to apply the pressure. It's one of those energies that just wax down over the months. Now, again, it's not a bad thing. Your cards for this month are not too bad. So I don't want you to think, oh my God. I want you to think, okay, I can cope with pressure. but you may be laying that pressure on others, but anything seems to be under pressure. So that means basically if anybody says, let's go to dinner, they'll be saying, and we're leaving in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? You might find it's at work somebody comes up and says, we've got to have this job. Here you go. Here's what we need to do. And you're like, fine. And then they say, we want it in 48 hours and pressure's on. So it's an interesting thing. Now, when you're under pressure, Gemini, it gives you a chance to perform. You're very clever, you're very quick, you're very smart, you're very intelligent. All of those varies. Verily. So all of those varies. So pressure is an opportunity for you to show what you can do, how adaptable you can be, how resilient I guess you are. And just as equally, it can be something screech and run away. It's up to you, entirely up to you. What to watch out for is forgetfulness. Now, that can bring pressure in its own self. When you forget to do something, you have to go catch it up. If you forget to pick the kids up, Max? You got to race off and get them as quickly before the police arrive before you. Strength is in mediating. That implies to me that there will be discussions or disagreements around you, or you will need to mediate between different people. It may be part of your job, between the public and a boss or somebody else, or between two family members. They may not be warring exactly, but you may find yourself in the position where one talks to you and you have to pass the message on to the others. When we are mediating a relationship or situations, the important thing is to do so that you're meant to do it. That is to say, you relate messages in a way that they're better received rather than adding, and putting your own 2 cents worth in. Weakness is in insecurity, feeling insecure, not feeling as if you've got the goods. Coming into December, you may also be feeling as if you have spent too much time on whatever it is you didn't really enjoy or don't really enjoy this year. But there's definitely that end of year feeling around that insecurity as another year's gone. 6 of Swords, there's smooth operation, smooth times ahead. Now that's not in some maybe suspicious future. That's December. So moving into to calmer waters. You're moving into being able to see where you're going, and all of the efforts that you've made are collected, they're there, and now you can work out what to do with them. With the moon, not what to do with them, where they're taking you. With the moon, you're going to use things. You're not going to really play the rules so much this month. It feels right for me, or it doesn't feel right for me, so you're going to be very point blank. There's a lot of energy saving in behaving that way. There's the reason that people don't, and the reason when you don't, is that fear of missing out, making a wrong decision. But the truth is we can think about something for a very long time and still make the wrong decision. In fact, there's a study around that, and I will be writing an article on how we make decisions, the best decisions. We've got the 3 of Cups. Now, that's a celebratory card. Even in its reverse position, it's not horrible, but that insecurity may make it difficult for you to just enjoy parties or your partnerships. That insecurity can turn into jealousy, that kind of thing. So you may need to think a little bit about it and practice enjoying those upbeat moments. And if there's a time to celebrate and there's a group of people coming together, try and find a way to enjoy that. If you really can't, stay home. Let everybody else enjoy it. The Ace of Swords suggests that as you're stepping up, there's your pressure. You may need to tell people to back off if you feel but it's full of new ideas. The Ace of Swords it attracts conflict simply because a person wants to practice their own thing. They want to do things their way. They want to practice a new idea. They want to put something in motion. It's a nice energy. It doesn't have to be a conflict. But usually somebody will step up at some point when you say you want to do something or you want to do it differently, or if you say you don't like something, and they will get in your face about that. And you don't have to take it to the bank. All you need to do is say, yeah, fine, and carry on doing it your way anyway. Cancer influences family. You're going to spend a lot of time talking to family, wanting family. It's December. We could say that for everyone, but it's come up for you as a main influence this month. It's your own children, your own partnerships. You may find that all of your decisions and choices through this month are around those people in your life. Watch out for indecision. If you're going to be indecisive this month, somebody else is going to take charge for you, and you may feel that you are being led. Oh, your yoga teacher is a Gemini? Well, that'll be interesting to watch, won't it? And that's the beauty of checking out the sun signs of others. If you've got a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a husband, a wife, a boss, a co-worker, a good friend, check out their sun sign. When I was doing things on Hangouts individuals, which I do for the whole year. That's coming up in the end of December. Last week I'll be doing all of these half hour each for the 12 months following. Month one it'll be on Hangouts, it'll be on YouTube. When I do that, people look at their own and you see them often, they'll go, where's this one and where's that one? It's like, well, looking at your own's okay, but if you're having relations with others, if you want to get a pay rise, if you want to resolve an issue, knowing when is the time to address that is a powerful, powerful tool in your box when it's good for you and it's right for them, or you know how to approach them based on where they're at right now. You will get the best possible results. And the strength is consistency, Cancer. So you'll be just doing what you need to do, getting the job done. If you say you're going to do something, you're going to follow through. There's not going to be any prevarications. Weaknesses, limitations, and this I like, and because we've got the Five of Swords reversed, and the weaknesses, limitations is not necessarily knowing your limitations, but it can just as easily be applying limitations to yourself. Judy says, I dated a Cancer to figure out what he wanted. Well, this is just December, love, just December. There are those that do know exactly what they want, and that could be just to stay the same. You know, it's an interesting thing with Cancerians because they are level, and so when you put them on the spot, they're not going to answer you. And if you push them harder and you push them harder, it's going to get worse and you'll get more frustrated and they'll feel more that they're being under pressure and that you're maintenance when neither thing is true. They will start pushing out at you energetically. They will decide that you're a problem. So, and that's just to get the pressure off. They don't like pressure very much. So with the reversed Five of Swords, what we've got there is, you know, don't overspend, don't overeat, don't overdrink. The chances are good you're going to do all three of those things. That you're not necessarily going to, you know, live with your limitations this month or within your limitations. When you step over the boundaries in your life, there's a price to pay, right? So this one's a bit of a warning that's coming to you. The Hierophant is about advice. Get advice. If you've got indecision, if you're struggling to work out what it is you need to do, then it's a good time for you to seek the advice from the person who is qualified to give it to you. If you're not sure what to do about your finances, go to the bank manager or an accountant, not the psychic or your mate. If you've got problems in your relationships, go to a therapist, and that can be a psychic, and that can be a therapist, or it can be a psychologist, or it can be a life coach. As long as they're the person that's best equipped. It can still be a friend, but not if that friend is so protective of you that they're going to do you damage in the way they advise you, or so protective of another person, or maybe not liking another person, that their own agenda comes through. Now we've got the Queen of Swords. She's an analytical, sort of clinical energy. She's don't cry over spilt milk, but she is a feminine energy. So it'll be hard for you to feel really empathetic with others this month. You may find that they are drama queens, or you may just sort of feel, well, look, you know what, I've got to sort my own problems out. I've got enough going on. You need to sort your stuff out as well. So it's a fairly firm energy, and as you're in consistent mode this month, you may sit with that, and you may have others thinking that you're being a bit unfeeling, but if it feels right, go for it. Do be aware, though, that if it's going to hurt somebody, maybe it's not the right way to go. The Sun, it's an optimistic month, pretty good month, outside of watching your limitations, which will haunt you in January, February, March, April, May, June next year, depending on how long it takes you to pay back that credit card. If you overstep your bounds with the boss, it could cost you your job, that kind of thing, relationship. What price are you prepared to pay when you have those limitations this month? Now we're moving right along to Leo. Leo, grief is the main influence for you this month. That does not mean that you are going to lose someone this month, although in a world full of, you know, only 12 sun signs, somebody will. But grief and memory, the thoughts of those that have gone before, the people that have moved away, those you've moved away from, as well as those you've lost, people, animals, jobs, homes even. Your mind's going to find its way back to those repeatedly. It's not necessarily a regret energy, but it can be. It's more reminiscent, I suppose, of the things that you've lost. At this time of year, it's probably not that uncommon for people, but we're looking at the whole of December as a main influence for December. You might want to try and limit that a little bit because it can influence other behaviours. Watch out for false promises. Don't make them, and be in particularly aware of those who make false promises to you. If somebody who's always late says, I promise I'll be on time, then don't buy into it. Allow for that lateness, and don't tell yourself that this is the one time in 30 years they're going to be on time. So think about where those false promises are actually in your psyche and you're aware of them. Also, don't be offhand with the promise that you make just to get people out of your hair or to make them go away. Your strength is resilience. Resilience is bouncing back. So any knocks that you've been taking of late, or any knocks that you take this month, you'll be able to bounce back from. And that includes the brief moments. You may be weeping in your pillow one night. The next day you may be up smiling and ready to socialize again. The weakness is being inconsistent this month. And so I think that you're going to be a bipolar. And others are not necessarily going to know what to expect from you. You're a quintessential host and hospitality sign of all of the signs. You've got that in spades. Now, every sign has it, but you've got it in spades. This month you might go contradicting that, and where people expect you to always be saying yes and being the laugh or the life of the party, may be a bit down in the dumps, in which case they don't know what to do with you, and therefore you may feel a bit isolated. And then you'll come back out again and they'll all go phew. So it'll be a bit like for other people around you. For those around Leos, it'll be a bit like watching a roller coaster ride this month. So if you've got a Leo in your life, be supportive of them, allow them their grief, and if they want to be happy, be a good friend, be a good husband, be a good wife, be a good son, daughter, or parent, and be there for them until they come out of it, because they don't hold a fungiver. The star reversed is a failing hope. That's losing hope, not losing faith, but looking at things and just sort of thinking, my time's running out a little bit. I can't see the good for my worries at the moment. That kind of energy. It is a little depressive. It can be a little bit maudlin. Try not to make it a lot. The Wheel of Fortune, it goes round and round. We need to look for the good things in our life. This is actually a silver lining card. Most people don't see it that way, but it really is. We can be in that life mode where everything is a drama. Everything and all and nothing are juvenile terms of phrase. It's never everything, it's never all, and it's never nothing. And I use never. But you know what I'm trying to say. So essentially, sometimes things are tough. Sometimes things are great. Sometimes things have to be worked through. Sometimes we can look at the sunshine and the silver lining, and we can look out the mouth of the cave and know that we're heading in the right direction, even if we're nearly standing still. The Wheel of Fortune is a little bit fatalistic. We can let the fate rule. We can set things in motion and just go along for the ride. Or we can start directing that a little bit more ourselves. The Wheel of Fortune turns around. It's inevitable. We can't stay up forever. We can't stay down forever. There's a nice balanced place in the middle. The longer we hold those positions in the middle, then the happier we are overall in life. The devil suggests a temptation to fall into old habits, to fall into the ways that perhaps you don't like about yourself, you may have grown past, or you're liking to grow past. And if you fall into those states, you're not going to like yourself in January. You're going to wake up, look in the morning mirror, and you're going to not respect yourself. You're not going to respect yourself tomorrow. So think a little bit about that. If you've past addictions, if you've quit smoking, if you've cut down on your drinking, let's face it, Leo and excess are definitely known to go together. That wonderful hospitality comes with a price times, and that price is self-discipline. If you have a tendency to, get all down in the dumps and stay there for a while, the devil suggests that this is the month that you're going to fall back into those habits, even if you've worked your way past them. So try not to be tempted by who devil may care. When we say devil may care, we're also saying with stuff tomorrow to a certain extent, good or bad. The Three of Wands suggests that even when you think something's going to be good or it's going to be a real challenge, it's actually not going to be as bad as you think. That or the people that you think will stand in your way or cause you trouble are not in fact going to do so. And there's your resilience. You'll be able to come back at it. If you get knocked back the first time, when you come back the second time, you'll find actually that there's very little standing in your way. Virgo main influence is advice. Now, advice has come up as a negative on one of the sun signs, but for you, it's a main influence, and that means people are going to be trying to tell you what to do. You may find you are trying to tell other people what to do. We know it's a pet dislike of yours, so push back against that. Watch out for gullibility. Now, yours and others. Don't try to be conning people. It's December. It's not nice. If other people are telling you something and it's too good to be true, then know that. inside you. Don't hope that it's going to be okay. Don't misplace your trust in people and then go around later and say, I have trouble trusting people. Well, maybe you need to trust yourself, and then you won't have so much trouble trusting others. Your strengths are solid foundations. You will know exactly where you want to be. It may be different to where you are. It may be completely different to where you are, but you're going to dig your roots in pretty deep this December. You're going to decide, this is what I'm doing. And you're going to make sure that you have the ability, the tools, the power, the money to start affecting that going forward. Your weakness is only in confidence, and that means you may find yourself asking a lot around you or looking for validation, and this is that gullibility thing. Again, if you need somebody to support your ideas with confidence, you also need to hear them not necessarily saying good things about those ideas, the way you can assess. That's how we assess. We assess by looking at all of the potentials and deciding what is best and what is best for us, our capabilities. We got the hermit. You've experienced, you've got the life, you've got the history, you've got the understanding, the comprehension. You don't need to be told what you need to do. You know what you need to do. You know the best way to do it. So using that size is clearing your own path, by the way, rather than waiting for somebody else to do it for you. Again, we've got this Wheel of Fortune these 2 months. Leo and Virgo are fairly aligned this month. So, let's not hang out with them. Just choose one. One will be enough. Again, we've got the Wheel of Fortune changing. Now, if you've had times for a while, expect things to improve. If you've had really great, if you've been on top, then expect them to slip down a little. That is not failure. It is the nature of the beast. We go through high drive, high energy times, and then we go into toes where we have to wait a little while, or where we just have to do the work to make everything continue, to keep the impetus and the flow. We've got a reversed Ten of Swords. Now, Ten of Swords is final, and it is final endings. It's at a point where nothing else can be done. So stop beating that horse. Now, because it's reversed, you will have trouble accepting this, and that's that. Look out for the gullibility. If somebody's giving you advice and it's good advice, listen to it. That whole understanding that when something comes to a final ending, whether it's a failure or whether you see it as a failure, is irrelevant. If you have failed, you failed. But the true failure is not moving past that, and onto it and holding on to it and holding to it, limping along, being unhappy, whatever that might be, because the Ten of Swords only shows up when something is really done. And so let it go. The Four of Pentacles, there's jealousy here. There's feeling threatened in this card. Now, this is an interesting month for you. I think that you're going to find it difficult to really put your own space and place in there. The Four of Pentacles with the lack of confidence makes sense. That means if you've got a partner talking to somebody else of your sex, whatever you might be, female or male, you may struggle with that. You may see somebody else doing what you do, and you may feel threatened because they're doing it better than you perceive what you're doing. And it might be better, but then if it is, it's just a call to try harder, right? It's not a call to throw up your hand and say, well, everybody's better than me. They might be. There's a point where we're starting our learning process, and then there's a point where we're mastering. None of us are mastering everything all the time. We are looking at a point where we are mastering some things. Everybody's ignorant, just on different subjects. It's that simple. That simple. Don't make it difficult, Virgo. Yeah. Libra, the main influence of the future. And this is so Aquarian that if you know an Aquarian or around an Aquarian, boom, you're going to feel very connected this month. That's you, Carol. Gotcha. The future is a main influence of your mind running ahead of you, running ahead of your life. And Christy, gotcha. What to watch out for? Incorrect directions. Now, the thing about living in the future a little bit, having your mind there, is it's easy to skip like a little record. When the needles skip, for those that are old enough, when the needles used to skip, you'd get this blippity blip, 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 and you miss a certain amount of information, or you miss part of the song, and so it's not harmonic. Now, it doesn't mean it's not still working, but it's not harmonic. Got you, Jennifer. Stick a penny on it. One. Exactly right. We didn't have pennies. We would stick like, what did we stick on it? I think a 20-cent piece was just right. The strength you're going to have this month is charm. Oh, charm. And so charm for you is quite a natural state of being, I've got to say. But the charm as a strength means you will be able to get anybody to do anything you want. It won't touch. Your weakness will be being glib. That means somebody may come to you with something serious and you may laugh it off or you may not take it seriously. So they're going to be upset with that. As a weakness, you may need to watch for it this month. You may need to just get your act together there and just take that extra little second to think, are they being serious or are they joking? Do they need my full attention or are they just playing around? Now, a lot of the time when we are glib, and I'm a glibness, when we are glib, we don't know how the other person's responded or reacted to that. And they might fire back at you or they might just say nothing and limp away and lick their wounds quietly. So we need to watch that this month. We've got the Ace of Wands. There's that future energy in spades, just looking way ahead into the future. There's no direction set, but it's like, well, this is what I've got. I've got my bags packed. I'm ready to go. What's out there? So it's a really nice energy. The Knight of Pentacles says that you'll be able to do whatever you need to do. This is dealing with the mundane. If I've got to write an article, if I've got to pay the bills, if I've got to plan something for July of next year, but I'm not going to see any rewards for that. The Knight of Pentacles has a beauty in not being dictated to by reward. It's, I'll do this because this is what has to be done right now. It's a beautiful energy for getting things done. The Knight of Pentacles is that energy. And in December, you're going to love this, of getting to the end of month and being real proud of everything you've achieved. While each thing was fairly simple and very one step in front of the other. No major movements there. Now, the main reason I mentioned the hurting people was the glib was because of the reverse Three of Swords. The reverse Three of Swords suggests that what's that saying? What's that? Forgive him. Knows not what he does, whatever it is. Forgive him, Jesus, because he knows not what he does. It's that kind of energy when it's reversed, the Three of Swords. And so that's why I think it might be aligned to that being glib rather than correct directions. It sort of feels like, I didn't realize I was doing you damage. So there's that glib, offhand kind of energy. Having said that, you have charm to fix it, right? So as soon as you notice it, fix it right then and there, and everything forgiven and forgotten. The King of Wands, there's that wonderful charm. The King of Wands is the master of selling a fridge to an Eskimo kind of an energy. The King of Wands can talk the tail of a donkey. The King of Wands can just tell everybody. It's the Tony Robbins of the tarot. You could convince anybody of anything at this moment, at this month, and using your charm with all of that going together, it's actually quite enough for you. We go, Carol, for you this month, the very first thing that I see is I see you talking to an official or a number of officials or people in authority, and you get away with things. I've got you getting away with something. It turns completely in your favor that you were sure, absolutely certain was going to go bad for you, that you thought was going to be really sticky. And I get that whole feeling of you walking out sort of like, I'm not going to smile. I don't know that I'm really, really happy with this. I don't want them to think and look at it again. I'm just going to quickly walk out of the building after having said yes. So I've got that whole energy around it. When we say a person on authority, that can be anything from the police, lawyers, doctors, and it could also be, financial aid, government agencies, that kind of thing. So anybody with authority in a situation that you're in where you expect the worst, it's just going to go kaboom in your favor. I feel it's fairly early in the month of December too, maybe between the first and the third week, that second week somewhere in there, we're sliding. Because it's sliding, it may be something that's been on the go for a wee while and it's just another run into it, that kind of feeling. So that's quite nice for you. I do see you getting a lot of little chores or things done that they don't feel huge in themselves, but I just see you, yes, I've done this, ticking the boxes, dunk, 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 dunk. Before you're even 3/4 of the way through the month, you're just like, everything is exactly where it should be, and it's as good as it can get. So that's for you, Carol. Christy, who? For you, I've got it being a very steadfast month. I've just got you sitting there quietly, knowing that everything you do is absolutely the right thing right now. I haven't got you going left to right much, so it may be a little bit of a boring month in some ways with regards to you. But the bottom line for you is that you just feel pretty happy with yourself. You feel like I'm just dealing calm. So for you, the Knight of Pentacles is going to be a very dominant energy. But I've also got you having a wee luck with a few people that may not normally expect you to be in high spirits, I suppose. And with that, you find yourself getting help in quarters that you didn't expect it. So there's a little bit of that. It may not be physical help, although it may be. I don't know if you live in an apartment block or a group of places, but I've got a place beside you, however that works. And I've got a person there that may have been distant, suddenly becoming a lot friendlier, a lot closer. So it's very, very friendly energy, quite nice. And Jennifer's journey. Sorry, trying not to miss anybody here. For you, I've got the future being the major influence personally for you. And I've actually got stages. I can see next year, I can see 3 years after that, and I can just see them wavering in and out between next year and 3 years after that, moving in and out. So your third eye could be full on impacting in that. But I've got plans that take you 3 years ahead, but you bring back or have the first, initial energy, the initial contract maybe, the initial setting of the foundations for this is definitely next year. Actually, it feels to be around March. And I've got that whole, it goes winging out into the front. It's going to be so good because I can blah, 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 as on blah, 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 blah. But you still have to get there, right? So it's all there in front of you, but you have to work through the process. So I see impatience around that. I have got a person letting badly this month. This is the hurt card, the Three of Swords. This doesn't feel like just because you're glib necessarily. Actually, it might be the incorrect direction. So you may have chosen to align with somebody that you thought would be a future alignment, that it was a partnership, not necessarily romantic, but, a pairing that could go well into the future. And you may have made future plans for quite some time with this. And they're going to dump and run, and they're going to do it this month. He got his reading, so he left, is probably about the truth of that, right? Yep, that's how it works for a few, by the way. So we know if he comes in and if I'm not doing readings, he just quietly pops again. It's what some people are like. But that's okay. This is what we're doing. So that's what we've got for you there, Jennifer. So somebody's going to dump and run and maybe leave you hanging or disappoint you and I've just got you really not expecting to do that. So watch out for that one. We've got Scorpio. The main influence for you this month, Scorpio, is regret, which is a really sad thing because Scorpios tend to feel things very deeply. This is why they can bite, they can sting because they feel hurt easily and they've got only one recompense for that. Watch out for spite. It can come from you, Scorpio, but it could come to you as well. If somebody's being spiteful, step away from the spiteful person. If you're being spiteful, it's going to turn into something nasty. So watch out for that December. If you have trouble with a family member, because it is December, I'm going to bring this part of it up. If you're having trouble with a family member, if you're having trouble or have traditionally had fights or something with somebody that you see only around the Christmas period or you don't have to deal with much until the Christmas period, you might want to refrain. Think about how much juice you put into your system while they're around so that you don't get caught out and find yourself in a situation that you wake up regretting. Strength is in consistency. Now, I've noticed we've had that consistency and inconsistency thing going on through a number of the sun signs, which means the prevalent energy for December is consistency or inconsistency for others. Because I call that, because if that's through a number of the sun sign, most of us are going to get touched by it in one way or another, even if it isn't applying to us personally. It's a strength for you. So that means if you hate somebody today, you're going to hate them tomorrow. If you love it today, you're still going to love them tomorrow. That's you, Scorpio. The weakness is fudging the truth. Now, you need to not be doing that because if that could bring out the spite in somebody else, fudging the truth is a term that means basically blurring the edges of a truth just enough. Now, people only fudge the truth for one reason, right? And that's to save themselves without regards for the other person. I don't want to admit responsibility here. I don't want to deal with you being upset with me for not having done what I said I would do or whatever it is that's going on that caused the fudging of the truth. There's this moment where we need to just sit back and go, okay, then I did this for me. I didn't fudge the truth. You feel good. It's, I see the white lie as you do this to make somebody else feel good. That's your friend. Woo, then you can work with this one. A white lie, somebody says, does your butt look big in this? Does my butt look big in these pants? An honest friend will say yes. But a person who is scared of hurting you will say, no, it doesn't, even if it does. They're doing that for you, or what they perceive to be for you. It's not really a true favor. Fudging of the truth is always about the person doing the fudging. They don't want to deal with you. They don't want to deal with the honesty. They don't want to own up, whatever it is. They just want to keep that away from themselves, no matter what it costs you. So there's a problem with the Scorpio, because the chances out when you're fudging the truth are pretty high. That doesn't mean you'll get out every time, but the person who catches you doing it isn't necessarily going to say, well, I know what you did there. You're fudging the truth. Very often they'll say nothing, but they will think less of you. And that's the important part, especially if they're important to you. The Lovers is about seeing that fudging of the truth area, because here the Lovers is about making a choice, and it's about making the best choice, not a convenience or a superficial choice. So think about that. That's what the Lovers is always about. It's not about love as such, because it's when we are with the Lovers that, or making a choice of Lovers, that's when we get struck by this the most common. The Nine of Swords is an anxiety card. It's something getting into your head and not leaving, and I think that's the regret. These are the Furies. These Furies just won't leave the mind alone. So if you do something that you regret, and there is a main influence of regret, it will play on your mind this month. The Page of Swords, this is the spy energy, ill winds and all that. The Page of Swords is not the best card. Now, it's the card of talking about somebody or speaking to them in an unfriendly or disrespectful manner. It's a combination of those things. Look at that. It's like, barren mountains. There's knives. It's not a lovely card to look at. So if you can avoid this situation, or if you can minimize it, you will be a whole lot happier this month. It will prey on your mind, and it could play into that regret. We've got this disappointment. We've got it again. We've got the reverse Five of Cups. Now, I think feeling betrayed is more for you this month, Scorpio. So I think watch out. This could be one argument that you have with one person, by the way. It doesn't mean it's your whole month. But if you do have this, it's going to be a big part of your month. It's going to be on your mind, or it's going to affect you profoundly. So thus we've done every sign. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for those that got their readings. Now for Judy, sorry, I see that you missed your Pisces there. Remember that when I do these, when I'm in to listen to these, that from January onwards I'll be doing them on Hangouts. Hangouts has now sorted out their chat, so that I don't have to do this twice. It's on Hangouts. They do have chat, so we'll be doing the same there, that you can come along there, and then you can ask or let me know when it's your sign, and I will read that influence personally for you after doing the general reading. So thank you everybody for coming, and this Wednesday, 9:30 p.m, it's Altered States again, and we are looking at dreams. So we'll see you then, and in the meantime, remember this week, don't be a part of your own problem. Ciao.